Okay,
So Eric,
go back.
there's no decision on this. What do we want to do with this?
What, the ERR?
What do we want to do with this?
I think we just need more research.
All right.
You know, I mean, nobody knows enough about it so far, so the only thing I can do is say we put it off until the next meeting. In the meantime, if everybody could, you know, check on that council file and read it, it's 80 pages, so I've read parts of it. Anyway, Granada Hills Specific Plan, Commercial Districts Enforcement. Anything new on that?
Not at all. Actually, the city attorney, Elaine Sahagian, is going to be looking at some of the uses such as massage parlors and hookah lounges and that kind of thing, as to how other areas in specific plans regulate these uses, because these are you know, do bring crime. Also, you know, I would say even the licensed commercial care units, you know, these kind of things, we probably can take a look at this in a specific plan kind of a manner. Bill, I don't know if you would have any input on anything with specific plans. Do you ever work with anything in a specific plan that becomes a nuisance in a specific plan, commercial?
We go after people, we don't really care about the specific plan, I mean, quite honestly.
Yeah.
We go after people for nuisance. The plan, I mean, normally, I don't want to get your whole meeting about how, are you asking about
Yeah,
what type of business?
from your opinion, how would you as a city attorney, you know, is it, when you come across a specific plan, are there effective conditions within a specific plan that can regulate commercial uses that tend to be very problematic, such as tattoo parlors, such as hookah lounges, such as
Most of that is in the zone. Depends on the zone. There's not usually.
Because the city attorney wouldn't weigh in on that if we were to formulate a opposition to certain commercial units that are a criminal element. Would the city attorney's office weigh in on that in any way, shape, or form?
Like I said, we go after people who are running a legal business. We're looking at, it all depends on what it is. I mean, look, there's hookah places, a lot of times we go after them on tobacco violations.
Alcohol.
You know, with nuisance bars, we go after, you know, based on the nuisance activity that's going on here. You know, there's massage parlors, you know, usually there's prostitution going on in there. And then at that point, it doesn't really matter what
the specific plan.
What the specific plan is, although there are, and then there's other things too. They'll get them on like police permit violations. You know, like massage parlors. That's very common. Building safety will go in that way.
Bill, do you think it would be fair to say that we as a committee could come up with recommendations for prohibitions of specific uses like that?
I don't think I can answer that question.
Yeah, I'm baiting you.
But, you know, the thing about it is, we're still waiting on specific plans, but stuff like hookah lounges, they didn't exist when we first started working on this. All of a sudden, you know, we got these big places.
I have to be very careful what I say, but I mean,
Yeah.
the truth is there are some of these hookah lounges. There's one very close to here that is a major pain in the neck.
The Ocean?
I didn't say that.
He can't say name them. He can't name them. He can just say that they're close to here.
I just said this. I didn't say anything. I just said there's some that, for example, there's some where we have issues with people congregating and then they do stuff in the parking lot. You know, like racing coming out of it, all kinds of other issues. I can't blame always that on the hookah lounge, but I think it's just it's attracting.
Yeah.
It's attracting problems. I can say.
But see, you can't blame tattoo parlors either, because I mean, that is.
I'm not blaming tattoo.
No, but I'm just saying, but in our case, they attracted Hell's Angels and all sorts of gangs in our particular area.
Yeah, but you know what? I think I mean, my own personal opinion is that the hookah lounges are more troublesome in terms of nuisance activity than the tattoo parlor.
Not in our case, but okay.
Well, I'm saying generally speaking.
Yeah, generally
There
speaking,
could always
I
be.
didn't see any motorcycle gangs around here.
we have a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I
You
think
say
that
so.
the hookah lounges are definitely an issue, no question about it. But to go after a nuisance hookah lounge, you have to have enough. I mean, you know, we have people who go in and they'll cite them for these violations, but like anything else, it's predicated on arrest, it's predicated on even sometimes citizen declarations where we don't want to do that. If you have enough there, we can go after pretty much any kind of business as a nuisance. You have to.
Were they able to shut those down in Van Nuys and Sherman Oaks because they had a raid last summer? Do you know anything about that?
I don't.
Okay, because they raided about 6 of them. Okay.
Well, I think they got them in tobacco violations. I know.
Yeah, they did. And alcohol. They cited them for illegal alcohol use along with smoking, and I
Well,
think
yeah,
eating
if
and
they don't have a
smoking.
permit to serve alcohol, then they can't.
And they got them on that too. Okay. So what I would like us to discuss tonight are some extra issues that have to do with thrift stores, secondhand stores, recycling centers. These are also some kind of crime. These also attract crimes in our area. So I'm gonna forward some of these things so we're prepared for next time. But I think our main issue, Eric, is that we made a recommendation out of this committee 2 months ago, and it came before the board. The board approved our recommendation, and we still don't have a CIS. I mean, we still don't have a letter to planning department as to what happened to our 2008 recommendations that the South Council made for the specific plan and prohibited uses, because we have everything in here, I think, except hookah
Was
lounges.
it posted?
This?
Was our CIS, was it posted to a council file?
There's no council file on this.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is a specific plan, community plan revision.
Oh, okay, okay.
There's no council file yet. There will be one, but there's no council file yet. So what we need to do is write to city planning. We made these recommendations back in 2008, remember?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
and this
remember
came
that.
before the board. The board made the recommendation, they agreed. This went to city planning. In their recommendations of 2013, not one of these recommendations, not one was considered. So we want to know why and why not, and we want a line-by-line explanation.
Yeah.
So what we need to do is get our board to write the letter.
Well, that's gonna come down to us.
Okay,
We'll write the letter.
well, somebody
Yeah,
needs
okay,
to.
I have it right here.
Very good, okay.
Uh,
So when is that gonna happen?
Right away.
Okay,
I'll have to get together with you and we'll
All right.
draft that letter
Let's
and
do it.
then we'll send it.
okay, very good. Okay, because we need to get this going, yeah. This has been 2 months, dragging our feet.
Yeah, Jim, you were president then.
Oh, wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Don't you remember this?
Glenn
Look
Chester,
at
I got a
that.
lot in my old age.
Robert Norris. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Look at some of the names on here.
Okay, so
Forgot
let's,
about some of these people.
so that's the action item, we're gonna get this
Yeah.
letter together so that our council, our board
Yeah.
does
Yeah,
something.
because, let's face it, you can get it approved by the board, but it's gotta come from committee to actually do the work. And the board has already signed off on it, it's just that they don't know what to do with it.
Or maybe Jared can help us write the letter too.
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyway, let's,
Okay, but before we can do any other extra things, we need to have this done first. This needs to be done first, because this is really critical.
Okay,
And then after that, we'll go into the other, just a few other prohibited uses that aren't included here, okay?
okay. Now, the Granada Hills Pacific Plan update. Any update on it other than nobody knows?
That was what we just discussed.
We put the
Oh,
two,
oh, that's what you just.
we put the two together.
Oh, okay. Okay, community care facility ordinance.
There's been absolutely no hearings. I think it sunsets in April of 2015. The committee has not met since, I think last summer, as I recall. And a lot of the conditions that would have offered any kind of protections have been pulled out. What the city needs is a boarding house ordinance, pure and simple, like other cities have done. And where boarding houses are permitted and where they're not. And it's a very simple thing to do, but the city refuses to do that.
Do you know why? You have any idea?
Yeah, I'm sure that there's probably moneyed interests that have an interest in keeping unregulated group homes going because it's a very lucrative business. it causes nuisances and crime in our area.
Okay, Granada Hills Norwood Community Plan update.
We've been given promises and assurances that this plan will be coming before Plum Committee year after year after year. We've been working on this since 2007, yet we have nothing.
Nothing, I know.
This is 2015. Several of us, I think, will have plans to be meeting with Councilmember Englander's office to see what we can do to move this along. The city attorney at the forum, were you there at the forum at the Women's Club?
Yeah, he was there.
Yeah, that's right, you were in the back. I don't know if you heard this or not, but the city attorney's office, or city attorney stated that he's basically done with what they need to do with our plan, so it's ready to go from their perspective. That's what I understood.
The thing about it is, we haven't even seen what they've done with it.
No, we haven't had any responses. We put in questions to planning department. We were supposed to get responses. We haven't gotten those yet. They have not responded to the community. And then planning department stated back in May that they were ready to go, that this plan is cleared by them. And CD12 is saying, well, it's up to planning department. It's up to the city attorney's office. Well, you know, we've got a triangle here, and everybody's pointing at everybody else. Well, we're done, we don't know, and we don't know. So we want answers. When is this thing gonna be moving forward? This is, 8
Well,
years.
We can bring it up again when we get a chance to meet with Mitch Englander.
Yeah.
In his office.
And we'll keep doing so until we get some answers.
Anything else? That's the last on our agenda. Final remarks.
Yes.
I would like to state
Want
once
to make a
again.
final remark? I would just like to reiterate my final remark, that I told you on the phone, we were talking about
Yeah.
these fraternity houses, and just again, there's no definition of a fraternity house in the municipal code, so it's not being enforced by DBS for that reason, so.
It's, the boarding house and the fraternity house is such a linked item. They're really basically one and the same thing.
They're not the same.
No. But what I'm saying is that they're an illegal use, that they're a multi-family use in a single-family residence.
Right.
And so many cities have put fraternity houses, they've defined them and listed them and listed them where
Think
they
about
go.
a fraternity house, though. They can be closed down by the university that they belong to. It's just like in the Oklahoma SAE.
Well, again, you're assuming that the fraternity, the definition, I don't want to take up your whole meeting with that, but if we just had a good definition of a fraternity house, there's a lot of issues with enforcement that when you find all these people that we cannot enforce as a boarding house, you need to have a definition of a fraternity house in the municipal code. And the municipal code, since it doesn't have a definition, we go to this insane, in my opinion, dictionary definition that there was no way we could enforce that court. It would be almost impossible to enforce that court. We have had a few cases, it wasn't raised by the defendants, but I can guarantee we had a case where they raised it, and it would be a disaster. So building and safety is not agreed to enforce at this point on those as a general.
Yeah, and again, Bill, I can't reiterate enough. I think we do need a classic boarding house definition and a classic fraternity house. We're getting nowhere with these boarding houses.
I always thought most fraternity houses were set on campuses, or at least university properties or college properties.
No, they're in private areas. There's some here in Granada Hills too.
Oh yeah.
We had one on Morris Street that, thank you, Bill, you helped us with.
Don't they have
It's very hard to enforce.
their own zoning? I thought there was a fraternity house zoning that's allowed, or is under a conditional use permit?
Well, see, they would need a conditional use permit, but like I said, we have no definition, so you can't, it's very hard to enforce on the council office. They said it's too controversial, so.
It's not controversial,
I always think it's kind of strange, to be
It's
quite
not
honest with
controversial
you.
at all.
I don't understand that myself, but that's what I was told, so.
There's friendly interest, maybe with politicians such as recycling centers and maybe some of these fraternity house and mortgage issues that, really, it slams the neighborhood. And we really need to, try to do something with our city. And, I'm very proud of this committee for some of the work that we're doing. because our city isn't watching out for us, and we're trying our hardest to do something here,
Yeah.
you know? And we've had.
But it's
you know,
not the same as boarding house, that was the point I was trying to.
No, no, it isn't,
There's-
it
it's-
technically.
There's a very different, it's a very different set of things, so you can't, my point I was making on the phone,
Yeah.
you cannot enforce on a fraternity house, just bring it away.
Yeah.
No, but I still see it as like,
Well, what you feel and what they can prove, two different things.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
okay, one more thing, if we're just
Okay.
on to comments on non-agendized. The DRB, the sign, the Belgian House Waffle, it's nice to see a new commercial neighbor in the area where
Belgian?
Starbucks, a Belgian Waffle House on the corner of Chatsworth and Lindley.
Oh, okay,
It's gonna
the
be-
Belgian Waffle, but that's been there.
Yeah, but they wanted to have a sign that came before us, a design review board, so I just wanna know if you
Oh,
saw,
okay.
if you saw that on the early notification, we waived the hearing. Because
Yeah.
it's a standard sign.
I went in there to eat and they didn't have any meat. It was like just waffles, and I was like, what? I'm going to the house of pancakes. Just waffles, okay. Well, I mean, they looked okay, but shit. Anyway, finally, as it was announced about there's a moratorium on tear downs and construction of McMansions, and Granada Hills is on that list of the areas that are.
I didn't wanna bring that up because I didn't have time to really look at today's hearing.
I did. I've got it printed out right here.
Oh, you are just so hot.
Go
You're right
ahead,
on
you can
this.
read it out
Oh
loud.
my gosh. I've been at work, I'm so sorry, yes. The old Granada Hills, this that was city
Mhm.
council approval. And right now, Old Granada Hills Residents Group is on the list. It's just a certain area, the older area.
Yeah,
of
it's
Granada
about
Hills.
20 areas.
And there's 20 areas, there's 20 communities in the city, and we're one of them that will be getting an interim control ordinance that might last for 2 years. Because you know what, to be honest with you, with the way the community plan is going, I honestly think it's going to take several years, so in the meantime, we have some additional protection.
Yeah.
So that was a huge feat, and this is thank you to Dick Platkin and Shelley Waters, who really, really did an amazing amount of community advocacy on mansionization in general. It was just so much work, I can't even begin to tell you.
Anyway, if that's
Right here.
all, yes?
So I just like to request, something to be on the agenda for next time. There is a, oil drilling,
Here?
you know, Porter.
Oh, yes, the Porter and.
Yeah, Porter Ranch, and it's kind of a big thing in Porter Ranch,
Mhm.
because, you know, to some of the residents, I kind of said in one of the meetings, that they're claiming, and there's a guy actually who's actively, and I know, I just heard it on Radio 1070, that it's come, the government is looking at the drilling issue.
Is it fracking?
Fracking, yes, the
Okay.
fracking issue. So I'd like to maybe discuss that, because I know that Porter Ranch are going to make a decision, and, you know, I think.
Is there a council file on it?
I don't.
Probably.
I mean, Porter Ranch, it's come before Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council,
Mhm.
because I think they supported additional fracking, like they were gonna add like 15.
They support?
They supported initially, but there's a group of people that's really against it now, and, so they
Well-
actually officially formed a group and so forth, but I think they did go ahead and they already started, I think, adding some additional fracking up there, which impacts Granada Hills as well, because to some of the people, they claim that because of the fracking there, that's why the Northridge earthquake happened. Because it's been there for, I think, 60+ years or something like that. the fracking. So there's
You're talking
additional
about
fracking.
all the way up to the top of the hill.
It's in the valley.
Yeah, I know where that area is. I've shot a few commercials up there, and it's a big ranch
It's,
up at the top of,
it's-
Browns
top of
Canyon.
Tampa, yes.
At the top of Browns Canyon up there.
Right.
Beautiful up there, by the way.
But there's additional fracking is gonna happen.
Well,
So,
give us a report, give it to, Jerry will be back and he'll put it on, but he needs a report of it because it's not in our neighborhood council, so we'd have to find out what they said.
we're still impacted by it.
I'm sure we would be, but you know, I don't have the time to go and research that. If you want to, please.
Yeah, we should have neighbors.
Anyway, if that's it, then I will call this meeting adjourned at 8:40.
I missed the beginning of this thing, so the guy.
You didn't miss much.
So he came in and what was he saying? That they were trying to get his second.
Well,
he was
these
having-
people here,
I
live
heard
next
what he
door.
said, but
They
what was
live
the-
next
what was
door.
guy
The people
trying to
back
do?
there were the people requesting,
Yeah.
zone variance due to, the oversize of the structure. And, it was required to be a 50-foot, rear yard setback, and they were 10. And they had already built everything. They claimed they hadn't, but everything is finished.
Right.
And they had pictures of it
Did
up
they
on
have,
the
did they
internet.
have, did they say, did they ever have permits to build that building at all?
Almonds, you know, like the.
They said they were still trying to
the
get
ones that you
permits.
can- It's not bond.
So they built the whole thing with no permits, and that entire.
Maria,
thing is in
did they
red.
have permits?
What?
The people who were here for that rec room
The
construction?
rec room has been completed, constructed, no permits.
No
That's what I
permits.
thought.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't hear that? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's what I'm saying, but I came in late, and that whole thing, I went by the property, and
Yeah.
that whole thing, for that large to be a rec room, I was like, what does he have, 100-foot pool table or what?
I
They,
know.
when they started
I
that
thought
thing,
it was
they
a
knew
second
what it
house.
was. They
You know,
pieced it
honestly,
together.
I looked from the street, and I thought, is that a second house, or is that the same yard? And it's like he's got two houses on one lot.
Yes,
So
also-
now what he's gonna do, I hate to say it, but
Yeah.
I told you on the phone, he was already mentioned here, he's probably gonna go and ask for that granny flat thing, and he probably will get it.
Yeah.
I don't know, now maybe he won't be able to because it's too close to the wall.
Yeah.
No, he won't because it's too close to the wall. So that's the exemption.
Yeah, he asked for 3
Yeah.
exemptions.
So he may not be able to.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, they did it wrong because they started it, trying to do
So
it
did
under.
he admit here that they're renting it out? Did he say that?
We showed him the rentals that he had it up on, he's had it up all over town. And we downloaded some of those.
So he, I mean, I saw what you sent me, but
Yeah.
he didn't say here that he's renting it out.
No, they said, no, they changed their mind.
Ah.
Yeah, because they got caught. So they say they changed their mind and now his mother is going to.
That is technically correct what he's saying. You offer for rent, but you don't actually rent it, there's no.
No, but apparently witnesses,
Yeah.
apparently, according to the neighbors, they talked to people who.
Already were living there.
Were renters. There were renters there.
Yeah,
Okay, so this is an illegal occupancy. You have people that are in there now.
yeah.
You need this illegally
No,
occupied.
now apparently.
Yeah, I think they moved out.
Yeah, they moved
Yeah.
out.
So it's vacant as of right now.
Yeah.
As of right now, yeah.
I think they moved out on January